Hi, I'm Paris, and today I'm going to be installing my third raised bed garden. I've tried metal, I've got cedar. Today I'm trying out a composite raised bed garden. This is by Frame It All. This is 4 feet by 4 feet, just 5.5 inches tall. It's the starter model they have. You can stack them higher or you can make them longer. I picked it up for $49 at Lowe's. You can find out more about it at the link down below this video. Let's see what's inside. The Frame It All raised bed garden should look something like this when I'm done. You notice they advertise durable composite, won't rot, warp, or fade like cedar. So they're insulting my just put in raised bed garden, which, if you may notice the board here, is actually warping a little, but I made this choice for a reason. I went with this untreated cedar board garden for planting my vegetables because I didn't want chemicals leaching into the soil. The composite boards in this kit are made from about 1/3 recycled plastic and 2/3 wood fiber. Here's what you're working with in the basic kit for composite boards. You can see they are hollow. That's supposed to help with insulating and keeping the soil warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer. These brackets that attach to each end of the boards, and they have these stakes that you put through them so the corners stay attached, and you can either hammer them in and secure them to the ground, or if you're doing it on concrete, you just take off the stake part and just use it as a peg to hold the corners together. Decorative caps to put on at the end, and the screws that you use to attach this to the board. So you do need a power drill or screwdriver and a strong arm, as well as a hammer. Boards have some good heft, and they're 1 inch thick, which is thicker than my cedar board, so they should be pretty strong. But it's only 5.5 inches depth, which means you don't have to buy a lot of soil, but it also means you might have some issues if you're putting it on concrete with growing things like potatoes that need some room underground to grow. Here's what the bracket looks like attached. If you're going to try to do this with just a regular screwdriver, you're really going to need a good grip and a strong arm. I've got the brackets on the first 2 boards, and so the way they'll connect in the corners is pretty much just like that. And then that stake with the peg slides right down through there. That's it. Time to connect the corners now. I have this one lined up, and I need to make sure they're about the same height so that this will line up afterwards. I think I need to do a little adjusting, a little shoveling under that board. Okay, that lines up better now. And then it's just a matter of hammering this in from the top. Let's see if I can do this left-handed. It's like I hit something. Yeah, what about when you have a rock down underneath? I don't know if you can see, the tip of the stake is now cracked from hitting that rock. They do say in the instructions you can just cut the stake part off and just use this portion to hold the corners together, but now we're going to need some serious cutting tool. I moved this a few inches over, tried again. Now the whole tip of the stake is gone. So this is, when you consider rocks, which are fairly common underground, if you had great soil and topsoil, you might not be putting in a raised bed garden. So I don't know whether they should have used metal stakes or made this so it's easier to just disconnect this part and just slide this in. Moving the whole frame a few inches, I was able to find a spot without a rock, and so I was able to get this first one in all the way. Here's the decorative cap. It should snap over it. I haven't flattened out the plastic too much by hammering. Oh, Yeah, I found with the cedar raised bed as well, these decorative corner tops are just not worth the effort. Okay, one corner in. And it is assembled. You may notice it is not square. They mention in the instructions that you can make it into a diamond shape if you like, because of the hinges on each corner. I had to make it this weird shape because I kept hitting the rocks, and so I had to slide an inch, try again, slide an inch, and so finally I did get all 4 stakes in. But that's a big downside to this kit for me, is if you've got rocks in the yard, you could end up with your raised bed garden in some unknown shape like mine is. Also, the issues I had with getting it level, ooh, that one's really not looking very level, but doing my best with that meant sinking it down below the level of the surrounding soil an inch or so. So now it only looks like it's going to be, instead of a 5.5 inch raised bed, it looks like it's going to be maybe a 4.5 inch raised bed. Time to add in the soil. I'm thinking maybe 7 cubic feet. I should have plenty here. Filled up fast. Okay, all done. Well, it really didn't take that much soil, about 7 cubic feet, whereas my 2-part multi-level cedar raised bed garden was 25 cubic feet. This Frame It All composite raised bed garden in a kind of diamondy shape is definitely the least deep of the 3 raised bed gardens that I've put in. So I guess to tell whether that's going to be a limiting factor or not, I'll have to grow something. So I'll be watching in a few months for my follow-up video comparing the composite, cedar, and steel raised bed gardens when I actually have some things growing in them. We'll see how they're doing. But if you're partial to the composite planks in this kit that won't rot, warp, or fade, you can find out more about this Frame It All set at the link down below this video, and I'll see you on the next review.
There are so many choices and you don't want to stress. You want your health food at home, receiving only the best. That's what we're here for, we give honest reviews. parristx.